Sorry, I just got home from driving down one of our shitty roads here in the state of Illinois and thinking to myself, the state of Illinois collected $1.7 billion in tollway fees last year. $1.7 billion in 2025 was collected in Illinois tollway fees. And I'm wondering to myself, where the hell's the money? Where did the money go? Did it disappear like a fart in the wind? I don't know, because our roads are still shit. Our bridges are falling apart. Infrastructure's crumbling. And there's no money. Meanwhile, our tolls are going up in January of 2027. 1.7 billion and the state's broke, right? But let's talk about how many different ways that Illinois can screw us, right? How many different ways that they can take our money, because it's not just through our property tax. It's not just through our sales tax, right? And it's not through our paycheck. There's several different categories that this state screws us, and we're going to talk about it right now, right? I've told you guys all along, this guy sitting in Springfield, this Oompa Loompa, fat ass, hypocrite, criminal politician that we call J.B. Pritzker, the man is no good. The man is no good. Listen, he's worth $3 billion. The guy's worth $3 billion. There's no reason he needs to be governor of a state making less than $200,000 a year if it doesn't benefit him. People need to get their head out of their ass and stop voting red and blue. It ain't about that. You've got to vote what is best for your family. And this guy, all he's done is take our money penny by penny, and we're going to talk about it. We all know that we pay more property tax in the entire country than any other state except New Jersey. New Jersey and Illinois, okay, are tied for the largest property tax in the entire country. We pay more than Hawaii, we pay more than New York, and we pay more than California. California, which has more millionaires and billionaires than almost any other state here in our country. We pay more than that, and we are a blue-collar people in the Midwest of this beautiful country, and we pay more than that, right? But it ain't just about that. Let's talk about the different ways that this state screws us, because it's not just our taxes. It's not just our taxes. Listen, there's 40 different ways, 40 to 50 different ways that this state screws us. And we're going to talk about it, because when I came up with this list, when I Googled this list and I broke it down, I'm thinking to myself, Jesus Christ, they are nickel and diming us to death, right? Here we go. We have our individual income that they tax us on, right? We have our corporate income that they tax us on. We have our personal property replacement tax, right? We got our sales tax, our use tax, our grocery tax, our occupation tax, our vehicle sales tax, right? We got our vehicle use tax. We got our motor fuel tax, right? We got our cigarette tax, our tobacco product tax, our cannabis tax, right? So if you like doing that wacky tobacco, guess what? It's going to cost you an extra 40 cents for that little wacky tobacco cigarette, right? We got our cannabis purchaser retail tax. We got our liquor tax, our beer tax, our wine tax, our gaming tax, our lottery tax, our sports wagering tax, right? We got our video gaming tax, our horse racing tax, our hotel motel tax, right? Our automobile rental tax, right? We got our telecommunication tax. We got our electricity tax, our natural gas tax, our gas use and revenue tax, right? We got our public utility tax charge. We got our real estate transfer tax. We got our estate tax. We got our property tax. We got our tire environmental fee, right? We also got our underground storage tank fee, whatever the hell that is, right? We got a dry cleaning solvent tax. We got a telecommunication infrastructure fee. We got our various environmental fees. We got our prepaid sales tax. We got our parking related tax. We got our local tax, our county tax, our municipal tax, our business districts tax, right? We got our transfer related sales tax. Now let's talk about it in 2027, because there's more fees coming up in 2027, right? In 2027, we got our social media and platform fee that's going to take into effect, right? We got our 2027 targeted advertising fee that's going to take into effect. We got our digital asset tax that's going to take into effect. We got our prediction market tax. Whatever the hell that is, that's going to take into effect in 2027. We got our sports fantasy sports changes that's going to take into effect. We got our sports wager and expansion tax that's going to take into effect. We got our hotel marketplace tax collection change, whatever that is, right? We got our corporate NOL limitation that's going to take into effect. These are just a few tax, right? Between our cars, our gaming, our recreational stuff, our miscellaneous, whatever. They are nickel and diming us to death. Almost 50 different ways they take our money and we don't even know about it because they're taking it pennies at a time. Well, guess what? Those pennies all add up. So unless you guys get your head out of your ass and vote this man out, and I'm not talking about the residents in downstate Illinois. I'm talking about the residents here in Chicago and the surrounding burbs where I live that vote blue no matter what. You guys got to get your head out of your ass because this guy here in Springfield, okay, is nothing but a liar, hypocrite, criminal politician who just lies out of his mouth and tells people what they want to hear. Meanwhile, he's like a little snake, okay, that does shit, right, before he sheds his skin, right, does shit behind everybody's back and puts stuff like this into effect. And don't forget the Safety Act, right, that he helps push, that that advocates for criminals, right? Please, get your head out of your ass. Don't vote red or blue. Vote with who is going to be better for your personal situation and more importantly for your family, because this guy here in Springfield is not it. Let me know your thoughts, guys.
My people, welcome back to my platform, and for today's video we want to see on how Illinois MAGA voters are crying. Illinois MAGA voters are crying and speaking out because of the cost of living. It has hit them hard. They are feeling this cost of living. That's why the videos that I'm going to show you, these are some of the MAGA complaining about what is happening, what they are experiencing from that Illinois. So let us move into this video and we'll be back, guys.
And Shannon Adcock here with Awake Illinois. Just wanted to make a really brief statement on all of the rhetoric I'm seeing from posts that we have made at our account, many of them via our Awake Illinois director, Steve Lucy, who, as many of you know, is a fifth-generation cattle rancher here in Illinois. Follow him at CattleGuy92. He's very concerned, understandably, about what is happening with some moves coming out of the Trump administration and some of the rhetoric on social media surrounding this issue. And I know that as a mom raising 3 kids, the grocery bill is high. I don't know how every family in America is really getting by on these grocery store prices. I have 2 high school boys and a middle school daughter. They all have healthy appetites, growing kiddos, and I am watching the price of everything we buy go up. So basically the dollar that we spend at the grocery store is worth half. It's insane. And so with the concept of beef right now in this country and what's happening with Trump talking about dumping, I don't know, the ground beef herd. I mean, Steve Lucy, 5th generation cattle ranchers, like what the hell are you talking about? And if this is a big ag bailout, the only people who end up getting screwed are the independent small ranchers and people like me, middle class families, and families that are really just trying to make it at the grocery store. So what are we gonna have to do? Cut out big ag and go straight direct to the rancher? That's what we're gonna do. And I'm amazed by how many people say, oh, well, you voted for Trump. Yeah, we did. Because if you have a choice, for example, of a pet, and somebody says, here's an alligator or a dog, you're gonna pick the dog. Kamala was the alligator. Woke Democrats, they're alligators. I don't want them in my home. I'm going with the dog. But when I get that dog, I don't want it to bite me. When I command it to sit, I want it to sit. President Trump is the dog I voted for in the fight. He needs to sit down with cattle ranchers like my friend Steve Lucy at CattleGuy92. Follow him on X. He's very, very transparent on this issue as somebody who can speak to what is actually happening on the ground, on the ranch, with beef. With our herd, the lowest we've had in, 60 years? Why isn't President Trump and why isn't Secretary Rollins, Department of Ag, talking to these ranchers? Not the big ag people. No, not these people, not the Tyson executives. They might as well be like the pharma executives. These are not people looking out for the regular American. So when we criticize President Trump, that is our right. We voted for him. We have expectations for him. I didn't want the alligator Kamala. I voted for the dog in the fight to be Trump. And I gotta tell you, he's pretty fucking disappointing right now.
You know, I've said it before and I'll say it again. There is absolutely nothing that anybody could say to me in order to get me to have even an ounce of empathy for all of the farmers who are MAGA and are going through a rough time right now. And I know it isn't just MAGA farmers who are going through a rough time, but if there's one thing that I know is that if you are not a MAGA farmer, people will buy from you even if they can't afford it right now, because we still would rather have our money go to you than go to these racist pieces of shit. And of course, you know, you're always going to have some of those white people on the left. It doesn't matter which part of the left you're on. It's just always a white person who has to chime in on your social media post or anytime you're having a discussion online. They always say, you know, even though it is satisfying that they're getting what they voted for, you do realize this is going to affect us, right? Because this is our food supply. And to that, I just have to say, this is why I don't trust you, and this is why I don't even like you. Because white people only say things like that when they're uncomfortable. They don't care that black people have been uncomfortable ever since being brought to this country. They don't care that Native Americans have been uncomfortable ever since Europeans landed here. They don't give a damn that every Hispanic has been uncomfortable. They don't care that trans people are uncomfortable. They don't care that anybody in the LGBTQ sphere is uncomfortable. They only care when they're uncomfortable. When white people are uncomfortable, all of a sudden we have a problem. All of a sudden we should not be making jokes about the other white people who are going through rough times, because their rough times are then going to be reflected onto us, because this has to do with our food supply. And once again, to that I just have to say, go fuck yourself. I don't care. This is why I tell you that white people at the end of the day are always going to stick with white people, because even in the instance when the people who are going through the rough time, those are the ones who voted for the racism, the violence, and the bigotry, and you still find a way to make it to where people aren't dogging on them too much. Fuck them and fuck you. And to the farmers out there, I just have to say, this is the reason why I don't trust anybody who regrets MAGA, even if they are very loud about regretting MAGA. Okay? Because the farmers don't necessarily regret MAGA. They're just pissed off that it's affecting them because they're white. It's not supposed to affect them. But as I've always said, they will hurt white people if it means that they can hurt black people in the long run, which is exactly what they're doing. But here's the thing. You do realize that y'all could just lie, right? All of you white people who are in the farming industry, who are being completely dogpiled right now because you voted for Trump, it's the fact that y'all won't even lie. You won't even lie about who you voted for to try to get some business. That's how loyal you are to this man. Some of you have doubled down and say that you would vote for him again, which just goes to show that you don't even see any of this as his fault. Your undying loyalty is what is disgusting about this. Because you could just sit here and lie. I'm sure somebody would figure it out eventually, but you could sit here and lie and supplement your business just a little bit more so you could survive another few months, but you won't even do that. You're willing to bankrupt yourself for this man, which just shows me how stupid you really are. I hope it gets worse for you. I hope you lose your farm. I hope you never have generational wealth for your kids or your grandkids. I hope everything that you have that is good or of monetary value goes completely belly up and you lose it all. And I pray that that happens for you. Because with your vote, you basically were saying that you wanted that to happen to everyone else except for you. So I am just meeting you where you're at, and I'm hoping the same for you.
These locals are getting a 10-cent return. Would you guys rather 20 cents for each of these return rather than 10?
Of course so. Of course.
So right now, these get returned at 10 cents. Now, way back in 1977, you could return these at 5 cents. How do I know? Because I lived in South Australia in Murray Bridge for 8 years on a farm. And back in 1978, my mates and I on our BMXs, we would go around and collect these 5 cents, which is equivalent to about 40 cents today. So if this is 10 cents, realistically, it should be 20 cents because you think about inflation. If I'm elected, I'm going to make sure that this gets put on the agenda, that I will lobby and fight tooth and nail for the government of the day, whoever it is, to make these 20 cents return, not 10 cents. And as for the purple bins, don't get me started on those, because why introduce mandatory purple bins when we're trying to encourage people to return these and get a financial return? I've had enough. People that live in this seat have had enough. This gentleman here's had enough. I want to put more money in your pocket. Thank you for watching, and in November, please give me...
Marjorie Taylor Greene made a good point today. I can't believe I'm agreeing with Marjorie Taylor Greene. But seriously, What are Republicans running on for the midterms this year? I mean, campaigning, they got like 70 days left. Let's see, what do you promise? No foreign wars? Oh, wait, no, you can't do that, can you? They did that last time, but then Trump got us into a foreign war. Oh, I know, they could campaign on affordability, right? Gas prices, food prices. Oh, wait, they're in charge of they're in complete control of the White House, they're in complete control of Congress, the House and the Senate, and they're in control of the Supreme Court, and our economy's never been worse. So what are they going to come out and say they're going to make the economy better? They're not making the economy better during these 4 years that Trump is in power. Like, what are Republicans going to run on? Lower unemployment? No, that keeps going up. More new jobs? No, not really. I mean, same old, same old. Like, anything that they're going to promise, they've at least half done while Trump has been president, and they go along with everything that he does and says. But no, they got nothing. They got nothing to run on. The Epstein files? Nope. They wouldn't fully release those either. What are Republicans going to run on in November? I'm kind of glad that we have this predicament.
I woke up the next morning, looked at me Resolute, €185. Come on. Well, it has affected me immensely because I'm thinking of moving over to Spain, to be honest with you. I was over in Spain for 6 weeks there recently, and we sat down and we thought maybe long term, not like move out, Eric, you know what I mean, but maybe long term, what could we do? And Caroline's the one with the figures. So we sat down, a good standard of living, meal Wednesday night and a meal on a Saturday, which we do in Dublin anyway, and accommodation, a nice apartment in Cambrils, right in the centre. Do you know what? It's like being over here. It's not in a holiday resort. Yeah. Paying everything, €350 a week. Right, that's living. You've got your weather as well. You've got your bit of weather as well, and plus you're with nice people. Nothing wrong with Dublin people. Don't get me wrong. I love Dublin with my heart. So we're out there for 6 weeks, and you go and have a meal, and they give you 2 Irish coffees at the end of it. Gratitude of the premises, and I come home and we did the miles. I had 6 pints of stout, 6 glasses of stout, me and Caroline. My uncle grabbed me, no taxi, dropped me to an Indian restaurant up in Roselawn. Went in there, had a meal, the whole lot, great, everything's brilliant.
My people, Illinois MAGA. You see, these Illinois MAGAs voters are crying over the rising cost of every life is putting more pressure on these families across these places, whereby the rising cost of everyday life is pushing more pressure on families across Illinois, where from the groceries and housing to utility bill and other daily expenses, many Americans say their budget are being stretched to be to the limit, guys. So people are crying each and every places. This place of Illinois, MAGAs have come out and gave out their concern about the high price of living. The living is so high there, where most of them they can't afford their daily meal. And now some MAGA supporters are speaking out and asking a tough questions. You see, these people are now asking a tough questions over what they are experiencing right now. They are just asking themselves, when will life become affordable again? You see, it's like the dream has dead. You see, there is no more dream the way they thought like, and right now they are saying that they feel like there is no dream, and they are asking, when will this dream be there the way they were experiencing before? And now some MAGAs supporters, you see, are speaking out and asking this tough question. My people, is the cost of living, guys, crisis changing how? Is this the cost of living crisis changing how voters feel about Trump and the direction of America? Will it change anything? Will it change their minds, my people? So what do you think about this? What can you say about this, my people? Just drop your comment about this. Is the American economy getting better, or the ordinary family still struggling? Just drop your comment before my people, and it is good for you to give us your comment so that we can know more from you. And thank you for you being here, and I appreciate so much, guys.